as Kendrick Lamar's victory lap over Drake wages on. One of the most impressive yet overlooked factors about his victory is that when it comes to Kendrick's smash hit song Not Like Us, outside of all the streaming records the track shattered, it also became the first rap song since the early 2010s with 3 verses from a single MC to become a #1 hit. And when we look at this in tangent with Kendrick's second album Good Kid Mad City selling more copies this week than most artists can in their first week despite it being over 12 years old, and his fourth album Damn being more popular than it has been in years. Because of what went down with Kendrick and Drake, it's clear that the world has an appetite for Kendrick's music in a way that is unprecedented for an artist who has not dropped a new album in years, but as a result of this, mass audiences have been caring more about what's arguably the most important aspect in hip-hop, which is, of course, lyricism. Throughout this entire beef, whether it was decoding and breaking down all of Kendrick's diss tracks to understand the full weight of the message he was trying to destroy Drake with, or it was revisiting Kendrick's 2022 album Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers to fact-check the way Drake wrongly flipped the song Mother I Sober on his cut The Hard Part 6. Everything centered around the catalog of Kendrick Lamar, from his most aggressive diss tracks to his most conscious storytelling cuts, have all been looked at in a way that any lyrically driven rapper's music has not been in a very long time, and as a result of this, the art form that's historically been most important to hip-hop is at the center of the genre in a way that it hasn't been in quite a long time. And with us currently being in an era in rap music where things have been getting much stupider to say the least, this shift in taste is more important than ever. Now, I want to be very clear about something. I'm not bashing the way hip-hop has shifted into a genre that generally is more about production and melodies as opposed to straight bars, because although the oversaturation of music in this lane has definitely hurt the genre, it's also expanded rap's horizon. And all in all, it's given us so much great music that deserves respect like anything else in the genre's lineage, and just like we saw recently, when you take aspects like the flashy production of a Metro Boomin, the wizardry of a Future, and the flashy lyrical nature of a Kendrick Lamar, when you put together all the different types of greatness that exist within the hip-hop world, you end up getting some of the most captivating music you can in the modern era, and this is what is amazing about what Kendrick is doing right now. By having all the eyes of the culture on him, and a song where he spits 3 entire verses that are getting played and chanted everywhere, Kendrick is not destroying another aspect of rap music, but he's bringing back balance to hip-hop to make the genre the strongest it has been in quite some time, and it's genuinely amazing just how much people have been thinking about each word Lamar has ever said right now. Whether it's going back to his Heart series to see how Kendrick's been alluding to his tension with Drake for years, or people revisiting a song like his and Baby Keem's 2023 collab The Hillbillies. While we may have originally thought that Kendrick and Keem were interpolating Drake's Honestly Nevermind cut Sticky, in actuality, they were mocking both it and Drake. Kendrick's music has been a goldmine to the entire music world right now, where people have not just been listening to it to discover or rediscover how powerful his catalog has been, but also to see just how effective the art of storytelling can be. And when we look at this, no album has been showing how enthusiastic hip-hop is towards lyricism as a whole right now than Kendrick's 2022 project Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Now with this record, despite it still being a massive success when it released, majority of people felt like it was Kendrick Lamar's worst album since his debut, and this was because the album traded in the commercial appeal a record like Damn had. And instead of making more stadium-moving hits like Humble and DNA, Kendrick decided to pull back all the curtains and optics, and write one of the most painful albums that has ever been released in the hip-hop space that is all about himself and his failures as a man, husband, and father. Now, between the more abstract soundscapes that Kendrick dove into to make this confessional work feel more raw and vulnerable, to the writing which got so vivid, painful, and specific with its storytelling that turned people away or even just bored listeners who were trying to hear an album that was narratively less intense. While Morale wasn't universally loved like Kendrick's other records when it first dropped because of just how different it was from anything else that we have ever seen from a rapper who's in the very prime of their career. With this beef, Kendrick and Drake's back and forth has almost served as promotion for the project in of itself, as from Kendrick predicting the personal angles Drake would use against him because of how vulnerable he got on this record, to Drake then trying to throw so much of what Kendrick said here back in his face to make him look awful. Mr. Morale was at the very center of this beef because all of its content and subject matter fueled Kendrick to have the vulnerability and depth to dig deeper into Drake than anyone else has before, which he directly stated on a track like Meet the Grams. And it also gave Drake a canvas to pick apart Kendrick's biggest flaws from, and through each song they traded and each time they alluded to the events that occurred right on this album. In a way, Drake defeated himself and everything he stands for at this current time in his career because he gave people a reason to go into this album wanting to hear about Kendrick's life and wanting to understand his most personal and gut-wrenching stories, and as a result of this, people have now been able to cling on to the rich, personal, and expressive lyricism the album uses to tell such a compelling story, and from Mr. Morale all the way to the rest of Kendrick's catalog going back to his earliest work. As it stands, Kendrick Lamar is a beacon to the hip-hop world that is showing even in an era where rappers try to make the most ridiculous and thoughtless music to go viral. At the end of the day, what will prevail over everything is music that can truly resonate with people, and the strongest pathway to do this in hip-hop will always start with the power of the pen game, no matter how so much of the industry has tried to make this not the case. So with Kendrick Lamar's diss tracks, singles, and albums all taking over the genre right now as mass audiences enjoy the art of bars in a way that has not been seen in a very long time, what's pivotal for the future of lyricism to remain as this prevalent cornerstone in rap music all depends on how the genre can move forward from here. Now, with the public seeing Drake as an absolute clown after this feud, from music executives to artists, everyone has seen firsthand that the power of lyricism is a skill that is more capable of doing greater things than even the most viral baiting songs can, and with this, the entirety of the hip-hop world is being challenged to see how they could build on the foundation of this pillar of rap music that Kendrick has shown is very well still healthy and alive. Now, in recent years, underground acts like Griselda already helped redefine what lyricism can be, and after a period of time where some rappers made the art of spitting bars seem so cringe with the whole anti-mumble rap movement, guys like Westside Gunn and Benny the Butcher actually pushed lyricism not just back into the mainstream, but made the skill of it cool again, and this impact was shown on the highest level possible when rappers like Travis Scott and Tyler the Creator took direct influence from them to release albums that featured their best rapping in years. So with Kendrick, it will be pivotal to see if the level of lyrical mastery that he has shown recently in this battle with Drake and the general attention his catalog is getting right now will cause more rappers to dig deeper and focus on writing their best material possible. And while only time will be able to see if the hungriest MCs alive right now can hold the torch for Kendrick when he is not active, what is undisputed right now is that lyricism is back at the forefront of hip-hop for listeners, and as Kendrick Lamar sees levels of success that have put him over even Drake. What would be amazing for the genre is that if this crave to listen to artists who offer great bars translates into more success for someone like J.I.D., who is gearing up to follow in Kendrick and also his Dream the Leader J. Cole's footsteps as he gears up to release a new solo album and a collab project with Metro Boomin that are both expected to push the genre forward as a whole. Or Denzel Curry, who is one of the most gifted MCs we have right now. Or even Lil Sims, whose blend of top-tier musicianship and storytelling has made her a once-in-a-generation talent, or even more underrated and even abstract acts like Rhapsody or Mach Homie, who both just released albums that have some of the best lyrical performances I have heard in a while. Overall, with Kendrick repositioning where the spotlight shines on lyricists and now giving this lane in hip-hop and so many of his peers the chance to see the greatest success they have ever seen, hopefully MCs continue to come with bodies of work that can excite audiences with the power of the pen and push forward rap, so eventually, the genre can be in a place where from the most amped up hitmakers to the most reflective writers, has balance. So let me know, how do you feel about Kendrick's success bringing so much attention to lyrical rap and the art of writing in hip-hop, and do you think that between Kendrick and the other MCs that they will be able to keep this momentum going? I can't wait to hear what you have to say, and if you want to see the shocking and surprising history of every Kendrick Lamar rap beef, check out the suggested video.